Hi, welcome into our new lesson. Before we go ahead, remember to subscribe to our channel, leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed the video. Today we talk about a few things you should pay attention on when choosing a product to sell online. When choosing a product to sell online, you should always pay attention at first if the manufacturer has the right certificates. So the really first thing to check if the manufacturer has the right certificate and tests done on your products. For example, if you're shipping a product that contains batteries, you need an MSDS, a material safety datasheet, and some tests that basically certify that your product is safe, the battery is safe. They conducted drop tests, pressure, and anything else that can, let's say, affect in normal circumstances a battery, and they actually pass the test. And then certificate for magnets or liquids. Let's say you're shipping a printer, you have the ink, right? And it can be quite harmful. And it's the same when you're shipping a pen, for example, it has the ink inside. So the chemicals inside it and so on, you should have certificates that basically make sure and certify that it's safe to ship that amount of liquids, for example, inside your product and so on. And telecom license, sometimes when you need to ship, phone, a certain product, you may need a telecom license, especially to the US. So just make sure that you know what certificates, more than to know if the manufacturer has the right certificate in place, is to know that there are certain certificates that you may need in order to ship certain type of products, and make sure you're aware of them. Second point will be the marks. So if you want to sell in the EU, you need the CE mark on the product, which means that you meet the standard to sell your product to European customers. For the UK, due to Brexit and the changes that happened in January 2021, they also require now their own mark, which is called UKCA. However, there are 2 years of transitional period basically, so you can still use the CE mark until January 2023, but then you should make sure you comply and use the UKCA mark. Third point is the FDA approval, which is the most common one. So if you're selling cosmetics or any type of medical equipment or supplements, proteins, you should make sure that your product needs or not the FDA approval. The FDA is the Food and Drug Administration in the US, and they are responsible to verify that your product can actually be sold in the US. Generally, it takes a few weeks to get the FDA approval and certificate, so make sure you have it before selling your products in the US, because they may get stuck at customs, and that can mean that they're going to dispose of your goods or they can ban you from selling there. So make sure you check it and you do it accordingly. Then we have the different certificates of origin, import-export licenses, and so on. So that really depends on the product, and you should also refer to the certificate that your manufacturer owns, or basically contact an expert if you're selling a product that you think is going to need a certificate to verify and basically make people understand if you meet requirements and if it's safe. And that can be, for example, when you're shipping meat, you need a certificate of origin most likely. Another point to keep in mind are the dimensions. Basically, you need to make sure you fully understand and you have on hand dimensions of the product, the retail box, but also the shipping box you're going to use. Or that can be the corrugated box, the brown box, or it can be a poly bag, but dimensions can vary a lot based on the shipping box that you use, and this means that it's going to impact the volumetric weight, but also the actual weight of your product. Because if the product itself weighs 200 grams, but the retail box is like the 200 grams, and then the shipping box is 180 grams, you go over 500 grams. And generally, you get charged every 500 grams, for example, by express courier. So you may have rates up to a kilo, and then it goes every 500 grams. So you need to understand the different dimensions and what's the weight that each, let's say, step adds on your total weight. Especially when you're new to manufacturing and you're just launching your product, that can save you a lot of money if you can plan that well in advance. Then we have the HS code. So the harmonized code is basically an international code that identifies your product. So if you're selling a phone, it's different from selling an iPad or anything else. So you need something that identifies your product. However, it may be that it has different components, and the HS code can change based on that. For example, a t-shirt, if the t-shirt has an accessory on it, or it's like as whether it has the hoodie or not, or the type of materials that are used to basically make t-shirt. Is that cotton? What is that? So different products with different components can have different HS codes. And you should make sure you ask your manufacturer if they actually already validated the HS code, or they're just giving you what they think is the best HS code for your product. However, you should verify with expert and with the custom officers as well in every country that the HS code that you are using is correct. Otherwise, what can happen is that either at the border, basically, the custom officer will apply a higher duty rate or lower rate based on what they think the product is, especially if you mismatch the HS code on the commercial invoice. They're basically gonna check and apply whatever they think it fits your product. So just make sure you validate it and it actually represents your product. That's basically all for today. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.